What does it take to become the richest man in Asia? A $209 billion empire, a skyscraper mansion with helipads, and a telecom revolution that changed a nation. But Mukesh Ambani is only the beginning. In this video, we explore the quiet giants and luxury titans shaping modern India's billionaire class. Stick around till the end. You'll meet a low-key mogul whose impact rivals even the flashiest billionaires. Mukesh Ambani, the telecom titan. He left Stanford Business School early, but not because he failed. He left because his father needed him. That decision would change not just his life, but the digital destiny of over 1 billion people. Mukesh Ambani, chairman of Reliance Industries, didn't just build an empire. He built a new India. With a projected net worth of $209 billion by 2025, he stands at the pinnacle of Asia's billionaire class. But unlike many tycoons who inherit and maintain, Ambani expands ruthlessly, relentlessly. His boldest move? In 2016, he launched Reliance Jio, investing over $25 billion to give India what many thought was impossible: cheap, fast, accessible internet. Within a few years, 500 million subscribers were on board. Video streaming, mobile commerce, even rural education transformed overnight. It wasn't just a telecom service. It was digital revolution, priced for the masses. But Ambani isn't stopping there. Now, he's pivoting to green energy with a $10 billion giga complex, aiming to generate 100 gigawatts of clean power by 2030 and push India toward carbon neutrality by 2035. Oil made him rich. Data made him powerful, but green energy might make him immortal in the annals of history. And yet, for all his industrial influence, it's his home that stuns the world. In the heart of Mumbai stands Antilia, a $4.6 billion mansion rising 27 stories into the clouds. With 3 helipads, a 168-car garage, a 50-seat private cinema, and staff of over 600, it's not a house, it's a vertical city. A symbol of ambition, opulence, and, perhaps, controversy. Because for every rooftop garden in Antilia, there's a slum just down the street. That's the paradox of modern Indian capitalism: massive wealth rising from a sea of inequality. But Ambani doesn't shy from the spotlight. He owns it, projects it, redefines it. If you've made it this far, here's your cue. Comment: data is power. If you believe the next wars will be fought with bandwidth, not bullets. And keep watching, because after Ambani, things only get bolder. Gautam Adani, master of infrastructure. He didn't inherit an empire, he built one, starting from the chaotic diamond markets of Mumbai to controlling the very gateways of India's economy. Gautam Adani, a man whose name once echoed through trading floors, now rumbles across continents through the engines of ships, planes, and power plants. With a projected net worth of $60 billion by 2025, he stands as India's second richest man. But his true wealth isn't just in billions, it's in influence. Adani began with nothing but sharp instincts. He dropped out of college, sorted diamonds, traded PVC, and then, like all visionaries, he saw what others didn't. India's future wasn't in selling, it was in moving. Moving goods, moving energy, moving people. Today, he controls Mundra Port, the largest private port in India, a colossal operation that moves over 150 million tons of cargo each year. But that's just the tip of his logistical iceberg. He owns and operates 7 major airports, including Mumbai International, handling over 30% of India's air traffic. And while most billionaires collect cars, Adani collects infrastructure: bridges, terminals, solar farms, defense contracts. His empire stretches from coal mines in Australia to energy grids in Bangladesh, oil tanks in Sri Lanka to wind farms in Gujarat. Adani's footprint isn't just national, it's global. But with great reach comes great resistance. In early 2023, he was at the center of a firestorm. Allegations of stock manipulation from a US firm sent his company's value tumbling, wiping out tens of billions in mere days. Many thought it was over. But Adani didn't blink. He divested, reshuffled, and rebounded. Within months, investors returned, and so did the headlines. Resilience isn't a strategy for Adani, it's his default setting. And while critics argue about regulatory advantage and political ties, the undeniable fact remains. Adani has reshaped India's backbone. Ports that hum 24/7, airports with cutting-edge tech, solar parks so vast they can be seen from space. His lifestyle, though lavish, is rarely spotlighted. He owns several ultra-high-spend properties across India and abroad, maintains a private jet fleet worth an estimated $150 million, and has personal security that matches heads of state. But unlike others, he lets the scale of his projects, not selfies, speak for themselves. Gautam Adani doesn't throw parties, he throws power switches on nations. And if you're still watching, ask yourself this. Comment "Infrastructure is destiny" if you believe whoever builds the roads controls the future. Because after Adani, we're just getting warmed up. Cyrus Poonawalla, Vaccine King. He's known as the Vaccine King of India, but Cyrus Poonawalla doesn't wear a crown, he wears impact. With a projected net worth of $24.4 billion, Poonawalla isn't just one of India's wealthiest men. He's one of its most consequential. He chairs the Serum Institute of India, the world's largest vaccine manufacturer by volume. Each year, his facilities produce more than 1.5 billion doses, protecting lives not just in India, but across over 170 countries. But his rise to global influence wasn't accidental. It began in the 1960s, when Poonawalla inherited a stud farm. Instead of raising horses for profit, he used the animals to produce life-saving anti-serums, combining his family's legacy with his own vision. From there, the Serum Institute was born. Fast forward to the COVID-19 era, and his role becomes seismic. When the world scrambled for vaccines, Poonawalla's team partnered with AstraZeneca to manufacture Covishield, the most widely used COVID vaccine in India and much of the global south. At the height of the pandemic, his name became synonymous with hope and logistics. But behind the lab coats and data centers lies a lifestyle as expansive as his empire. His real estate portfolio alone exceeds $100 million, including the iconic Lincoln House in Mumbai, once a US consulate, now undergoing a renovation worthy of a palace. It's rumored the property spans over 50,000 square feet, blending colonial architecture with modern luxury. And then there's the jet collection. Poonawalla reportedly owns multiple private aircraft, including a Bombardier Global 7500, a long-range business jet valued north of $70 million. His fleet ensures he can travel seamlessly between international health summits, corporate headquarters, and luxury hideaways, sometimes within the same week. Cars? Think more of a curated museum. Among his prized possessions is a Rolls-Royce Phantom drop-head coupe and a Ferrari 812 Superfast, collectively worth around $3 million. These aren't just modes of transport, they're expressions of design, engineering, and status. Yet unlike some ultra-wealthy figures, Poonawalla doesn't seek constant attention. He balances opulence with philanthropy, quietly funding hospitals, research labs, and education programs. Through the Poonawalla Foundation, he's channeled hundreds of millions into healthcare access and vaccine research, particularly in underserved regions. And here's what makes him so compelling. He doesn't merely live in luxury, he manufactures survival. While others boast yachts and parties, Poonawalla manufactures immunity at scale, changing the trajectory of public health on a global level. His story isn't just about wealth, it's about wielding that wealth to shape the world, one dose at a time. And just when you think the chapter is closed, there's more. His son, Uday Poonawalla, now the CEO of Serum Institute, is expanding operations into next-generation vaccines, mRNA platforms, and biotech innovations that could reshape how the next pandemic is handled. Because in the Poonawalla family, legacy isn't something you inherit, it's something you engineer. Shiv Nadar, the silent tech giant. In a world of billionaires shouting their success from penthouses and private jets, Shiv Nadar chooses silence. Not because he lacks influence, but because his empire speaks loud enough. With a net worth of $33.2 billion, Nadar is among India's most powerful men. But unlike others in that circle, you won't find him headlining summits or throwing champagne-soaked birthday galas. Instead, You'll find his signature etched into the very code that powers Fortune 500 giants, hidden in the back end, driving global enterprise. He is the founder of HCL Technologies, a company born in the 1970s from a borrowed office and a borrowed vision. Back then, India's tech sector was still crawling. Today, HCL is a global behemoth, providing IT services, digital transformation, and software solutions to over 250 Fortune 500 firms. Its annual revenue exceeds $12 billion, and its reach stretches across more than 50 countries. But Nadar's true legacy might not be in software, it's in schools. Through the Shiv Nadar Foundation, he has pledged billions to overhaul India's education system. His flagship creation, Shiv Nadar University, stands as a sprawling campus outside Delhi, an academic institution with research centers that rival those in Silicon Valley. The foundation also runs elite schools like Vidyargyan, which select top-performing students from underserved communities and provide them with full scholarships, mentorship, and exposure to world-class faculty. That quiet investment, it's changing the trajectory of thousands of lives, most of them belonging to kids who never imagined they'd step foot in a university, let alone one designed like a modern Ivy League campus. Despite this massive footprint, Nadar rarely steps into the spotlight. He avoids social media, gives few interviews, and has never turned his wealth into spectacle. Yet behind the scenes he maintains multiple high-end residences, including a private bungalow in Delhi estimated to be worth over $40 million, fitted with bulletproof glass and custom interiors by Italian architects. He's also rumored to own a Gulfstream G650 private jet, one of the most elite long-range aircraft in the world, valued at around $70 million. But you won't see him flaunting it. His travels are booked under private names, his flight logs rarely public. That restraint is no accident, it's part of the design. For Shiv Nadar, power isn't about noise, it's about architecture, quietly building systems that outlast trends, companies that outlive egos, and institutions that outgrow their founders. In a sea of tech titans chasing valuation highs and metaverse fantasies, Nadar plays the long game, grounded, strategic, and always a step ahead. Where others race for headlines, he invests in futures. And that, whispered, not shouted, is the kind of legacy that doesn't just leave wealth behind. It leaves behind a nation reprogrammed. Dilip Shanghvi, the pharma strategist. When Dilip Shanghvi launched Sun Pharma in 1983, all he had was a borrowed office, a loan of $200, 0 cents, and an oversized ambition wrapped in silence. Today, that whisper has grown into India's largest pharmaceutical empire, valued in the billions. And Shanghvi himself? He's now worth $22.2 billion. But you won't find him posting yacht selfies or sipping rare wine on Instagram. Now, because Shanghvi doesn't chase cameras, he builds quietly. His empire began with generics and grew into a global powerhouse through strategy, not spectacle. The turning point came in 2014, when he acquired Ranbaxy Laboratories for $4 billion, a bold move that shook India's pharma landscape and instantly positioned Sun Pharma among the top 5 generic drug makers in the world. Today, Sun Pharma operates in over 100 countries, employs more than 38,000 people, and delivers medications that impact millions daily, from antidepressants in the US to anti-inflammatories in Africa. And yet, its founder remains a mystery to many. His public appearances are rare, his lifestyle understated, but those who know him say his private estate in Mumbai, hidden behind high-security gates, features a multi-level residence valued at over $30 million, complete with underground meeting rooms and a collection of vintage Indian art pieces rarely seen outside museum walls. And while he avoids the flash, his actions speak louder. Shanghvi funnels millions into philanthropy through the Chantal Shanghvi Foundation, supporting research institutions, medical scholarships, and community hospitals. In recent years, his foundation has quietly funded mobile health vans across rural India, providing free diagnostics to thousands with no access to hospitals. He's also backed next-gen biotech startups, some of which are now developing personalized cancer therapies that could redefine global treatment standards. What's even more fascinating, he's not done yet. Despite his billions, Shanghvi still walks the floor at Sun Pharma's headquarters, still reviews R&D reports personally, and still treats every acquisition like it's his first. This isn't a story of a billionaire trying to be seen. It's about a man trying to make his impact felt. One dose, one decision, one silent empire at a time. Comment built, not bought if you believe legacy isn't about noise, it's about what stays when the cameras turn off. Because sometimes, the real power plays don't trend, they transform. Kumar Mangalam Birla, the legacy builder. At just 28 years old, Kumar Mangalam Birla inherited a legacy and then multiplied it across continents. Following the sudden death of his father, he became chairman of the Aditya Birla Group, a $2 billion, 0 cents Indian conglomerate at the time. But Birla wasn't just handed an empire, he transformed it. Under his leadership, the group expanded its operations into 36 countries, evolving into one of the most globally diversified corporations in Asia. Today, his net worth stands at $17 billion, $800 million, 0 cents, and the group generates annual revenues north of $60 billion, 0 cents. But this isn't just a tale of numbers. It's a story of quiet precision and generational ambition. Kumar Mangalam didn't chase the flash, he mastered the formula of sustainable influence. While many billionaires gravitate toward the limelight, Birla plays a longer game, choosing influence over spectacle and stewardship over noise. His real estate holdings include multiple high-value properties, like his 15,000 square foot South Mumbai bungalow valued at over $35 million, 0 cents, and a heritage estate in London, originally built in the 1800s, now modernized with smart tech and understated opulence. His car collection includes a Bentley Flying Spur, a Rolls-Royce Ghost, and several rare European classics, though they're seldom seen outside private viewings. Beyond business and luxury, Birla is deeply invested in India's cultural and intellectual capital. He has poured hundreds of millions into institutions like BITS Pilani, IIT Delhi, and the Birla Institute of Management Technology. He's also a patron of the arts, supporting museums, traditional artisans, and restoration projects for Indian heritage sites. Despite his global reach, Birla remains rooted in values that extend beyond the balance sheet. His leadership is marked by a consistent focus on education, ethics, and empowerment, principles that quietly shape the businesses and communities his group touches. He doesn't need viral headlines to prove his power, because when your empire stretches across 4 continents, your work tends to speak louder than your words. And Kumar Mangalam Birla's legacy? It's still being written. One decision, one industry, one generation at a time. Uday Kotak, the humble banker. While India's billionaire class is often associated with opulence and over-the-top indulgence, Uday Kotak tells a different story, one of restraint, vision, and a quiet revolution in finance. With a net worth of $13.2 billion, Uday Kotak could easily afford the private islands, gold-plated jets, and mega-yachts that define his ultra-wealthy peers. But instead, the founder of Kotak Mahindra Bank lives with a kind of calm discipline that's almost unthinkable in billionaire circles. And that's exactly what makes him so compelling. He started with nothing more than a small finance firm in the 1980s, operating out of a modest office with just a handful of employees. Fast forward to 2003, Kotak Mahindra became the first non-banking financial company in India to receive a full banking license, a landmark moment in Indian financial history. Today, the bank has over 1,600 branches, manages billions in assets, and is widely respected for its customer trust and innovation. But here's the plot twist. Kotak is not chasing status, he's reshaping how India thinks about money. While others flash their super yachts, Kotak builds systems that help millions open their first savings account. That subtle power? It doesn't sparkle, but it scales. He lives in a premium Mumbai mansion reportedly worth over $20 million, owns a few high-center vehicles like the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, and yes, even has a private jet. But none of it is for show. You won't find him throwing lavish birthday parties on private islands or filling his Instagram with champagne pyramids. His Kotak Education Foundation funnels millions of dollars annually into underserved schools, college scholarships, and skill-building programs, without a single press conference or naming ceremony in his honor. This isn't branding, it's legacy building. And if you've ever believed that power has to be loud to be effective, think again. Comment legacy over luxury if you believe that real wealth is measured in impact, not excess. Because sometimes the richest people in the room are the ones who let their work speak instead. Keep watching. There's more understated power coming your way. From the towering Antilia of Mukesh Ambani to the silent power moves of Shiv Nadar, India's billionaires reveal more than just net worth. They show us how influence is built, displayed, or sometimes hidden behind boardroom doors. Some lead revolutions in tech and vaccines, while others reshape cities with ports and banks. And yet, behind the wealth lies a deeper story of ambition, legacy, and transformation. The real question isn't just who's richest, but what they choose to do with it. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Billionaire Story for more deep dives into the untold stories behind the richest people in the world. The next one might just surprise you.